Thanks for joining the channel. In today's episode, we're talking about artificial fish structures that we're adding to a pond to enhance the environment for your fish. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Tim and Doyle. Welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors by Two Dumbasses,
a podcast about the outdoors, hunting,
and being a steward of the land.
Hey, thanks for joining us. As we stated in the introduction here, we're talking about adding fish structure to a pond. Tim, you kind of redid your pond, and now you're in a situation waiting for it to fill up.
Yep.
And trying to take advantage of it when it's not full to put some structure in there to enhance fish development.
100%. So my pond got a leak, and so what we ended up doing is doing a pond refurbishment, and we basically, this is what the pond looks like right now, and what you have here is the average depth of this pond's probably 16 feet. The size of the pond's roughly an acre, I would guess. And with the deepest point being 20 feet. Everything I've read is you put these fish structures in 8 to 10 foot of water where most of the fish are at. And what you're trying to do is basically improve the habitat, but also improve the nursery so that you're protecting those fish so that they can grow up and you can have big fish. So what you see here is we have these two nodes of the pond. These are about 8 to 10 feet deep in each of these spots. So we're going to put in a couple structures in there, and they say for about an acre pond you need about anywhere from 4 to 5 complex structures in your pond to help improve the nursery of your pond. So what we're going to do is I'm going to establish these as the nursery because they're always 8 to 10 feet. And this is the deepest spot out here is probably about 20. And so we're going to have these superstructures right here, which will be very complex to protect the fish. And then what we'll do is we'll put in some big stump-like structures that will be great for protecting fish, but also be great for fishing off of. So we'll put anywhere from 2 to 4 in here. And again, those are going to be mainly for fishing off of. So now going on to, hey, what are you going to do? There's lots of things you can make these structures out of. Pallets they say will degrade in about 7 years. So I don't really want to do that because it's not a permanent solution for me. You can put trees in which will last a little longer. Christmas trees, again, 7 years. So I'm going to stay with plastic. And so for me, on our farm, we got lots of scrap stuff from different projects where I have something a little bit here, a little bit there. And so I started putting through, and I've got cement blocks, I've got PVC, corrugated hose, tires, plastic pallets, re-rod, and then I also have some fencing. And again, these are all just scrap components. I'm trying to keep my costs low. I think what I'm going to do for sure is eliminate re-rod. It's too expensive, and there's lots of other uses I have for that. But and I'm going to stay off of fencing too. The fencing, while permanent, if you're fishing and you catch on that, it's probably not going to be very forgiving, and you're going to lose your things. So whereas I'm using hosing and stuff, it's more likely just to kind of bounce off of there. So that's where I'm probably headed, with the exception of the corrugated hose. And I haven't decided if I'm going to use that yet or not.
And when you say corrugated hose, it's like tile?
Yeah,
like
tile.
4-inch perforated tile?
Yeah, 2 inch or 1.5 inch or 4 inch. And I've got all of that too. So like sump pump hose.
Okay.
So now Joel and I also have a couple of plastic pallets, and I really have no use for them. They're a little smaller than what I envisioned. They're cheap. They're like $10 a piece, and they can be permanent. So I think what we're going to do is figure out how to leverage those. So stay tuned. So there's a bunch of options that we could do, but I'm trying to get maximized surface area. And so I have these plastic pallets, and what it's got these plastic pallets have a steel bar going down through them for strength. To try to pound those out, it's not worth the effort for me. So we're going to use some 1.5 inch PVC and we're going to basically cut a hole through here so that we can fit those through, and we're going to basically create legs that will basically sit on the bottom like this, crosswise. And then what we'll do is we'll fasten them, we'll weight them down at the bottom so that these structures don't move. And then lastly, what we'll do is we'll take this PVC that I bought. These are all about 6-7 foot in length. And we'll basically put them through the holes, just like so. Fasten them in with one screw, and what we'll do is we'll create some very complex structures for the fish. And I think this is going to turn out really great. Stay tuned. So what we've done is basically taken the Sawzall and cut out, and this is a thin-walled PVC. Again, its only purpose is really just to stabilize our structure. The pallet itself is very, very stable, but this is just adding that extra structure, and I think this is going to work out great. So this is our finished product. I've got about 2 feet of legs on each side, 1 inch, half-inch PVC. We've got some 1.5 inch corrugated, some pump hose tubing. And again, what we're doing is just using up some scrap stuff and trying to make a complex structure where bait fish and other fish can hide and provide forage for other fish as we go forward. Again, provide that cover. And I think this does it. It may not look pretty, may not have like a great design, but it's not really for us, it's for the fish. And so when you think about brush piles and trees and snags and stuff like that, this kind of represents that. And there's plenty of places here for the fish to hide. We're going to put some holes here in the corrugated so that they have places to swim in there as well. And this is it. We'll get some video of us putting this in place, and I've got probably another 4 or 5 more of these I'm going to make. Just as an FYI, what I've got in here from a cost perspective, I'm reusing some old screws to screw these in. This was left over, and it was $27 for 100 feet of hose, and I've probably got 150 feet of hose in here. So I made and then my pallet cost me $10. So for $35, $40, I made my structure. All right, this is our second attempt at a complex fish structure. A couple little things that I want to point out that I've done. I really like these plastic pallets. What I've done is I'm screwing in each one. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see that. And these are old sheet metal screws that I harvested from when we redid our roof. And so I drilled some holes. This 1/2 inch, I use a 5/8 inch drill. And these pallets really work really good. You can really do whatever you want with them. This pallet was a little different from its structure and how it was made, so I had to do some improvisation. But I'm going to sandwich both of these pallets that I made together to make one big superstructure of a complex fish structure. So it should be really good. My wife Ruth helped me. A couple of things I wanted to point out is I think you don't want these hoses to be any longer than 6 feet. And in some cases, I think because of the curl, etc., and I think you start to waste hose. So what you start to see here is I've got a lot over here that are 3.5 feet, and they're really providing a lot what I wanted to do. I was going to drill into the PVC and put some hoses up, but I just really don't think it's going to be necessary. On this side, I don't have as much congestion from a hose perspective as I have on the other side. But what I'm gonna do is on that other side, I'm gonna sandwich that in with the other pallet. And those two together will make it really complex, so I think it's gonna be great. So, one more thing, they say, hey, you wanna have this in that 6 to 8 foot range. So you're seeing this is about, 4.5, 5 feet tall. And I'm gonna have it in 8 foot of water, so it should be plenty good. The thing I do love about the hoses, I think if you get hooks on them, it's just gonna roll on off of them with some exceptions. I've screwed all of these in just so that, hey, if I do get a hook in there and I try to pull them, it doesn't pull my structure apart.
Sitting in a old Monte Carlo, a man whose heart is hollow.